Thank you so much for staying with us here on Morning Live. Now, Gauteng online schools registrations for 2020 will be officially opened at 8 this morning. The Provincial Education Department had to postpone the applications after lobby groups raised concerns about some aspects of the system. SABC News reporter Mahlako Komane is at the Diepsloot Community Centre, where parents are set to make their submissions this morning. And she is joined by a Cheif Information Officer in the Department of Education, Brenda, Molatlhegi. And Mahlako joins us now from Diepsloot. Mahlako, good morning.
Good morning, Sakina.
So, Mahlako, if you just can give us a sense of what the activity is like this morning at Diepsloot, and how different is it on a day like today when parents start looking for space for their children for grades 1 and 8 for next year?
Yes, Sakina, we are indeed here at the Diepsloot Community Centre. We are in Diepsloot, and we know that in a few minutes at 8 o'clock on the dot, the online registration for Gauteng schools for learners going to grade 1 and 8 in 2020 will be going live, and parents will be able to access the website of the department in order to apply for those spaces. We know there have been challenges leading up to this. We know that we were supposed to be here a week ago, but the department had to make certain changes to the system following complaints from various organizations, your AfriForum, your FETSAS. After those changes had been affected, we are here today. We are expecting the system to go online. I've seen some parents in the hall here who have come out with their documentation to be first in line and to be the early birds to ensure that their children get space. We also know that the department has cautioned parents to apply on time, and not to wait for the final day, for the final deadline. As we saw in January, there were a lot of parents that came out that had not applied on time. Some of them did they did apply, but they didn't go and submit documents. We know that within 7 days after you've applied, you're expected to submit documents to the particular schools, the schools that you have applied for, but also with the popular schools. Some schools are more popular than others. Parents are also cautioned there that it does then become a time game. The sooner you apply, the better your chances. We know that with the radius having been increased from 5 kilometers to 30 kilometers, so that the competition is obviously that much more tight. But I'm going to be speaking to Ms. Brenda Molatlhegi. She is the Cheif Information Officer with the department, and I'll be asking her, because I know some parents are asking exactly, does this website open exactly at 8 o'clock? Some parents are saying that they're seeing certain messages on their screen. And just to clarify for those parents that are watching and they're sitting by the computers, what to expect at exactly 8 o'clock on the dot. Brenda, thank you so much for talking to us. Can you just tell me, 8 o'clock on the dot, there's a message that parents are saying that they're seeing. What time will the system be online, and what happens then?
Okay, the system is going online at 8 o'clock exactly. The reason we have put the message is to allay or to indicate to the parents that it's only starting at 8 o'clock, not a minute before or not a minute after. So 8 o'clock we expect the system to be up and running, and the parents will be given an opportunity to fill in their details in terms of their ID, address, and then they need to also capture the learners' details and then apply for a school that is within their feeder zones.
Okay, we also know what happens when I have a husband and we are both applying for the same child. Will the system be able to pick this up? Is it necessary for two parents to sit at two different computers, trying to beat the clock?
It is not really necessary for the two parents to apply at the same time, because we are using the learner's ID as the primary key for the application. So if the two parents by their own will decides to apply at the same time, we are only going to link the two parents to this ID of this learner.
And can you just also tell me, just run us through the documentation that parents need today, or the information that they need in order to apply?
Okay, the main information that we require is the ID document of the parent, and then we also need their home address or working address, and then Then the ID number of the learner, it's very important as well. So, and after they've then applied, that's when we'll require them to deliver or to hand over the original documents to the schools that they have applied to.
And when it comes to, your popular schools, what do you encourage parents to do? Does it become a time game? Does it become how far you live from the school? So the earlier you apply, the better, or you can maybe apply tomorrow, a week later?
No, with the pressure schools, the time factor, it's very important because since the launch of the system, within 30 minutes, those schools are full. So it's advisable that the parents apply as soon as the system gets online now at 8 o'clock.
Can you just give us briefly an idea of what the pressure schools are, just at the top of your head?
Okay. Most of our pressure schools are your former Model C schools like your Bryanston High, Bryanston Primary, King Edward, GP Boys, GP Girls, Four Ways, and yes, in those affluent areas.
Thank you so much, Molatlhegi.
Thank you.
You've heard there, Sakina, that parents are encouraged, especially if you're eyeing some of those schools that she did mention as well. And then we also know that you also get your Boksburg High and your Benoni High also in the East Rand, also filling up quite quickly, and your Monjoa High. Parents aiming to have their children attend those schools must really be sitting on the computer at 8 o'clock and punching in that necessary information. We've also been told that it's not necessary for two parents to sit at different computers applying for different children. You can apply using your work address, you can apply using your home address. You also need obviously the ID number of the child, which is contained within the birth certificate of the child. It's quite important, time being the greatest concern for parents hoping to get their children into school, into Gauteng schools for the year 2020.
Oh, thank you so much, Mahlako Komane there. And this, of course, is going to be very important, the online registration process opening today, and it will close on the 22nd of July. And as we understand, 180,000 places for grade 1 and 140,000 spaces for grade 8 is what parents will be applying for.